nowadays we just have to be doing something. We cannot get bored. We can't even have a meal without looking at our phones. We can't even have a shower without having to listen to some music. And we scroll through TikTok or YouTube Shorts for hours without even knowing what we're looking at, because it's just like a reflex, like a muscle memory basically. And you can probably imagine how this is not a great thing. Now, I want you to think about now, like sit and actually actively think about when was the last time that you actually did nothing. And I don't mean just do an activity without doing anything else, like for example eating without uh, looking at your phone, but like sit and did nothing. When was the last time you did that? And I can probably imagine it was a very long time ago. Now, the reason why this thing is so bad that we cannot get bored is because the moment you have something that you need to focus on, for example, if you need to study or if you need to work or you need to read, for example, you get distracted so very easily, and it's very hard for you to get any work done, obviously, because if you get distracted every 3 seconds, you're probably not going to do a lot of work in the time that you're supposed to do it. And I'm guilty of this too. And a big example is when I'm studying or when I'm reading, for example, I have a very tough time concentrating, and recently I've been improving, but it's not something we can just from a day to the other just get so much better at it, because it's like the fact that we can't get bored, and like our dopamine receptors are fucked, and they are fucked basically. I'm not gonna say forever, but they have a very deep damage into them. So I've been trying to do this practice that I personally call nothing sessions. So there are basically moments where I just turn this computer off, I turn the lights off, I mean, unless it's like dark outside, and I turn my phone off, and for example, I get rid of all the objects I could distract myself with. For example, this thing that's for like forearm training, and I get rid of all of this stuff. I tell my family not to come in the room unless it's like something necessary, and then I just sit on the bed or this chair or whatever, and I just do nothing. Now, this may seem a little counterintuitive, because you might think like, well, if you're doing nothing, then how can that be productive? Like, it would probably, if I spend 10 minutes doing nothing, it would probably have been a better 10 minutes if I studied instead. Maybe it was distracted studying, but it's still better than doing nothing. Well, maybe, but I think there is something about these nothing sessions that is just better than doing anything. And the thing is, in the long run, they're gonna help you with how much you need, your the fact that you always need to be in some way interacting with something. They help you with this, because when you're doing nothing, you're not really doing anything. It's not like you are scrolling on your phone, so your brain slowly, like in the long run, as I said, um, it's gonna get a little bit better at concentrating and not having to always be stimulated by things. Okay, so that's the number one benefit, I would probably say. And also, I think that in the short term it also helps you, because personally, from my personal experience, the like one time I've done this. I haven't done it too many times, but one time I've done it for a very long time. It was like an hour and a half, an hour and 15 minutes to 30 minutes, and it was very good. Like, it didn't feel great during it because I was also tired, so I almost fell asleep lot of the time. So, but like towards the end of this, I didn't have any set time. Okay, so another thing is, don't have any set time for this. Like, don't say, okay, I'm gonna do 1 hour of nothing, because when the hour passes, maybe nothing has happened, like, and that wasn't very great. But the thing is, if you do it without any limit, any limitation that you set yourself beforehand, like I did this time, or you just set, and after about, as I said, an hour and a half, something inside me I just felt an incredible amount of energy inside, and like motivation for some reason I don't even remember, but it just came naturally. And then I got up and I stopped my nothing session, got ready, and went to the gym. And it was very good because I felt I felt very positively, and I don't know, I really don't know how to explain this, but for some reason I just felt incredibly energetic after doing nothing, which may seem a bit weird, but it happened. So, and there's another like interesting thing about this, which is the fact that this gives you time for your brain to think about stuff that maybe you didn't really have time to think about when you constantly kept resetting his processes by keep switching your videos that you're watching. The fact that you were always resetting its flow of ideas, it wasn't really good for him, so it wasn't really good for your brain, and it just couldn't really process many thoughts. And the fact is, you probably have some deep thoughts in your mind right now which are not getting processed well because you keep stimulating yourself with stuff. And my advice is that if you had a little bit of time on your own without any distractions, and you let your brain think and you let your brain formulate these thoughts about anything really that you have in your mind but you don't even know you have them, then that would really benefit you, because you could journal about it. Like, you can, if you don't know what journaling really is, you can watch my video on it, or you can just it basically, journaling in a nutshell is you grab a piece of paper or a notebook and a pen, and you just start writing whatever comes to your mind. So that's basically it. And so you let your brain think, and as it thinks, you start noting down the things that you are processing and that your brain couldn't process while you kept interrupting its flow of ideas. And this may, if you give it enough time, this may actually answer some of your biggest problems. Like if you have a certain situation with a girl maybe, or with your family or something, and your brain starts thinking about it during this nothing session, then you may come to a conclusion, and it might really help you, in your life. And yeah, so I just think there are a lot of benefits to doing this, and it's probably not going to be easy to get yourself to do this because it's kind of a weird thing to do. You just shut everything off and you go tell your family, okay, I'm gonna do nothing for a bit, don't enter my room. Maybe you don't have to tell them, you just say, okay, please don't enter the room, and something I don't even know. You don't even have to do it, but it's okay. So just find a way to do this, because I really think this has benefits, and I really think this is worth more than doing distracted work or hyper stimulating yourself with Instagram and TikTok and stuff. So yeah, I hope you learned something from this video, and hope to see you in the next one, and have a good rest of your day. Bye, and see you in the next video. I already said this, but okay.